Hi everyone, I'm Josefina and welcome back to Dark History of Sweden. Last week I did take a little break because I was away, but I also have had some trouble with headaches and it might happen again. So yeah, I just want to prepare you. I do have chronic migraines and a constant headache that varies in strength. So I've been to the doctors and everything. It's fine, but it makes working difficult sometimes, and especially here. Like I do love making these types of videos, but I do a lot of research where I have to sit in front of my computer for hours and just type, read. So I have started to space it out so I don't sit for that many hours like staring on the screen. But yeah, it's annoying because I have a day-to-day, like I have a normal job on top of this. So I try to balance it because I do love doing this, but I need to make money to pay rent. So yeah. But anyways, let's not, now you know, like, what's the deal. I do have severe headaches at times, and yeah, that's life. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about this week's topic. While I was researching for another video, I stumbled across Katarina's mental asylum and a few casebooks of a few patients. So that will be this week's video. Katarina Hospital was originally known as the Temporary Hospital, and it opened up in 1831. At this time, it was an isolation hospital, and in everyday speech called Kopphuset. This translates to the pox house. This is because mainly it was used to treat smallpox during the epidemic. It was built in an old brewery in Tegen district at Malm in Stockholm. In 1879, they reorganized the temporary hospital and became a permanent hospital. They renamed it Katarina Hospital after congregation it was placed in, Katarina Congregation. Katarina Hospital was planned for 100 beds, but quickly became overcrowded, and by the end of 1840, the beds had doubled, and by 1863, they had about 2,000 patients. In 1861, there was a proposition of building a new hospital, drawn by the architect Albert Törnqvist, but it didn't go any further than a proposition. Katarina Hospital was active until 1902. After 1902, Katarina Hospital was once again reorganized and became Katarina Mental Asylum. Katarina Asylum was active between the years 1902 and 1932. It was one of the most efficient asylums in Sweden during the early 1900s. During these years, there were several branches to Katarina Asylum that were active up until 1933. After that, Katarina Asylum and Hospital closed its doors. In 1935, all the mental health work and patients moved to Beckomberga Asylum. The building is still there, and I couldn't really find what it's used for today, but I've walked past this building many times when I'm there to visit a friend, and I didn't know what it's been used for. I stumbled upon some casebooks, and that was how I spiraled down into Katarina Asylum, so I want to share some of my finds. Hulda was 29 years old when she was admitted to Katarina Asylum. She was arrested by the police, and if you read the report, it says that it was quite obvious that she was mentally sick. Her full name was Hulda Olivia Malm, and she was born August 26, 1874 in the countryside. Further into her casebook, it is revealed that she most likely was a prostitute and had been since she was 17 years old. She misused morphine, tobacco, and alcohol. They believed that the cause of her depressed state was the death of her mother. Shortly after that, she started to talk incoherently and talked about being stalked by the little princess. She wasn't normally aggressive and she wasn't harmful towards herself or other patients. Hulda had moments of confusion where she could act out and could both kick and hit all around her. At one point, Hulda believed that she was a nurse that treated as well as cured some of the other patients. Josefina Gustava Nilsdotter was born November 15, 1864 in Holland. She had already been to several facilities. Josefina had been to Gibraltar Care Home 7 times and was noted to be mentally sick since 1893. In June of 1903, she had come to Stockholm to apply for a job at the Salvation Army's printing shop. By the end of June, she had a nervous breakdown and ran around the streets of Stockholm without rhyme or reason. From there, she went to Rosendal's castle to sing to the king. Josefina made a crown of thorns, put it on her head to get the king's attention. In July, she was taken in by the police, and after consulting a doctor, she was placed at Maria Asylum and later transferred to Katarina Asylum. She was very calm and friendly, had good memory, and was very lively. The care workers didn't notice any hallucinations. Karl was a farmhand and Salvationist. He was born 9th of May 1877 in Sandsjö and grew up in the countryside. Karl didn't have any hereditary neurosis or delusions. He didn't drink alcohol either. He was a hard-working man. But in 1902, he started to say that he had visions from God and that he was supposed to die for the people. And he had seen people from other worlds. Karl was admitted to Katarina Asylum on the 18th of April 1903. He was dull, uninterested, comprehension and attention was reduced. He heard voices but didn't want to talk about what they told him. His time at Katarina Asylum stayed the same. He was slow, dull, and mostly by himself. Did the work he got and then walked around just thinking to himself. Last but definitely not least, the Nazi. I actually didn't find a casebook on this man, but rather an article. Hermann Göring came to Sweden in 1924. He was a German military pilot and was psychologically and physically a wreck when he arrived. Hermann was addicted to morphine, and in August 1925 he was admitted to Asylum Hospital for the neurotic, where they tried to lower his dosage. This didn't work out and Hermann became aggressive. On September 1st, he was transferred to Katarina Asylum. He had to be taken there bound and restrained and was placed at Stormen, the ward for the most difficult patients. The day after, he was once again transferred, but this time to Långbro Hospital. But in 1927, he returned to Germany and his career in the Nazi party took off. He was married to the Swedish woman Karin von Kanzel, who is known as the most infamous Nazi in Sweden. That was all I had on Katarina Asylum. It was really fun to read some of these journals, but it really put into perspective what was perceived as mentally sick for women and men. Thank you so much for watching. Next week I will be talking about Beckomberga Asylum, so make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss it. Take care of each other and yourself, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!